I went back and forth this morning contemplating what I was going to talk about in the opening of the podcast. And to be perfectly honest with you guys, I don't even have a top story big enough to even go in depth about. I think the biggest thing that I have right now in my notes is what the plans are for Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles following Money in the Bank. Not really big enough to discuss because A, I really don't care. B, I kind of want everything to be over with those two anyway. After WWE just going on and on and on and on with the low blow and coming up with different stipulations that they can ruin. But I'm going to make this open, short, and sweet, man. We all watched the Mauro Ranallo commentary. Well, at least I hope you did, because it's absolutely worth your 90 minutes. And the battle with mental illness and the struggle that he has gone through ever since his childhood, being put in the hospital, not knowing if he's going to come out, contemplating suicide. It's Friday afternoon now, around 2 p.m., and I woke up around 11 because I didn't get to bed till 3:30. And I woke up this morning with tweets on my timeline saying that Anthony Bourdain committed suicide and took his life at the age of 61. Again, it's not really in my nature to come on here and talk about that. I've dated somebody way back in the day when I first moved to New Jersey who was very suicidal. She used to cut herself, and she attempted to kill herself while I was living with her. I wasn't physically home at the time, but when I had first moved to Atlantic City, I had dreams and aspirations of just becoming my own man. That was my journey. That was the beginning of my life, of my adult life. Moved into an apartment with her. I missed my family. I had, the band and, my musical project with my brother going on. Me and the guys were just very excited about that. I spent all my free time watching, music videos and gaining inspiration and sitting down writing music on my own and trying to come up with ways to help the band write music. Put my own stamp on the music that we were writing. So when I wasn't working, I was writing music in my spare time, and she got upset about that. She got upset about me taking a Greyhound bus every Saturday. And most weeks, I would go on Saturday and come back on Saturday. I would leave very early in the morning, see my family, jam with the guys, have dinner, come back, and take the Greyhound bus that same night back into Atlantic City. I wouldn't get in till 1 a.m. One night I got in. She complained about being lonely, and she complained about me not giving her enough attention, and why am I neglecting her? I come home one night and she's locked in the bathroom. I got Bacardi frantically running around the house because she was a baby at the time. She locked herself in the bathroom. She was laying in the bathtub, cutting herself, just wanting to take her life for whatever reason. I don't know why. Needless to say, I had to take her to the hospital. Things were okay after that. Clearly, the relationship didn't last, and, she ended up going on and cheating on me. And the rest is history. But just based on that aspect, I knew the relationship wasn't going to work out, and I felt terrible. I felt terrible about the whole thing. That was my only personal experience with somebody who had some type of mental illness or suicidal thoughts. And then I watch Mauro Ranallo and I see what he goes through and what he's went through and how he's overcome it. And he's absolutely the best at what he does. And it was just an inspirational tale, a tearjerker, needless to say. I did shed a few tears just watching him break down, not knowing if he's going to see tomorrow. And then I hear about Anthony Bourdain Someone who I actually watched very often. You know, when he was on the Travel Channel, I knew I believe he started working with CNN. Not really big into the news outlets and whatnot, but when he was on Travel Channel, which I watch regularly because I'm a big fan of Zach Bagans and Ghost Adventures, and I watch everything that they do. When he was on Travel Channel, you know, with his layover show and everything else that he did, and he traveled here and there, and he just wined and dined at these great places we all watched and wished we were there eating and drinking and just having a good time with him, you know? And the way he spoke and the way he narrated and his voice for storytelling was just fucking awesome. It really was. It was so inviting. It was one of those voices that you heard and you kind of stopped what you were doing because everything that this guy did, everything that this guy said, he just made it sound so fascinating, you know? And he was 61 years old. 61 years old, and he took his life. And, it makes you wonder, like, the guy was filming something for his show in France. His friend found him dead in his hotel room. And it makes you wonder, like, this guy was just admired by everybody. Like, he was universally loved by everybody. Everything that I seen on social media on Friday, there was not a bad thing at all said about Anthony Bourdain. At all. And it makes you wonder, like, and I may sound selfish for saying this because I really don't know what he was struggling with, but he was living a life that only people dream of. Like, what is there to be unhappy about? You never know what someone's going through, man, you know? I've dealt with my hardships as well. I've never gotten to that point, but, you know, all the criticism that you get on here from many different people poking fun at you, a bunch of shit. You know, you don't know what someone's going through when the camera's not on. And he never gave off any of that to make anybody wonder, you know, maybe this guy is not right or, you know, I'm worried about this guy. He lived his life to the fullest, and then you wake up one morning and you get tweets just proclaiming that, you know, listen, he passed away. It's ridiculous, man. You know, if you're suffering from anything mental illness-wise, please speak up about it. Speak up about it. Tell somebody. Talk to somebody. Don't hide. Don't conceal anything. It's always great to talk to somebody, but, you know, it sucks to hear someone so talented at such a young age, at 61. He was so vibrant, so young, so passionate about what he did, and he's not with us anymore, you know? And I know a lot of people who were big fans of Anthony Bourdain. I had a couple of personal friends of mine tweet that they loved everything that Anthony Bourdain did, you know? That they would listen to Anthony Bourdain speak, and they would watch him travel to all these different places. And if they traveled to that place that they know Anthony Bourdain was in, they looked up Anthony Bourdain online and found out where he went because they wanted to go there as well because he recommended it. And he had such a great time at whatever place he went to. So it's such a shame, man, to find someone that is so young and still so full of life, you know, take his own and is no longer with us anymore. So, you know, my thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and family, and it's just a shitty situation, man. I'd rather start the podcast off, you know, talking about just a minor personal incident that I had and a personal experience that I had, and then, you know, wish Bourdain's friends and family, you know, well wishes, and my thoughts are with them, man. It's shitty. It really is. And if you have any personal thoughts, or, you know, you have a mental illness yourself, please, you know, don't conceal that. Just talk to somebody, reach out for help. You know, there are places to go, and, you know, it's been a major issue with a lot of people. You know, people are bringing awareness to this type of thing, and it is very important that you follow the appropriate steps to get help. Because I don't want to see anybody that I know suffer through something like that. But thoughts and well wishes out to Anthony Bourdain and his family and friends, man. So rest in peace, and yeah, man, that's that. But this is Off the Script, episode 225, part number 2. We are going to tackle some of the remaining stories that I have this weekend. And like I said, we're going to talk about Nakamura and AJ Styles. There is plans for WWE for these two to go past Money in the Bank. What does WWE have planned? We will talk about it today on part 2 of Off the Script. Let's hit the intro, and I'll see you guys on the flip side with episode 225, part number 2 of this week's Off the Script. Off this shitty fucking product by coming on here and speaking the fucking goddamn truth about this fucking filth.
I can book a better show taking a fucking dump after eating my fucking Chipotle chorizo with extra cheese!
I don't give a fuck what anybody has to say. Have I ever? Of course not.
WWE's great, man. Fuck you, Japan, and Okada. Delete! What is it, man? Can I suck your dick? What is it, man?
Well, this is the #1 fucking podcast.
Right here on YouTube.com!
This is Off the Script. Man, it's Friday it's almost 2:30 now. Recording this for Saturday because, as you guys know, I mentioned on part 1, I'll be at House of Glory doing their temperature rising event at the NYC Arena, and the bell time is at 6 p.m., so I don't want to rush around on Saturday morning to get the podcast up, so I figured I would kind of give myself an extra day to get this up. So I recorded on Thursday for Friday and then Friday for Saturday. Worked out a lot better so I can just concentrate on my notes for House of Glory on Saturday. It's Friday, and I didn't get much sleep last night because I stayed up, and you guys know I'm a big music guy. Stayed up because I knew Mark Tremonti's new album was coming out, A Dying Machine, and soon as 12 o'clock hit, Spotify had it up. I'm like, well, let me get myself a bowl of cereal here with a nice cold beverage and sit down and listen to it. Listen to all 14 tracks, man. It is definitely the best work of his solo career. Not including Alter Bridge, of course. That's always going to be his best. But if you guys are big into music like I am and you enjoy the heavy metal hard rock thing like I do, Mark Tremonti's new album is fucking brilliant. I have it on my Spotify, man. I've been listening to it nonstop. Go out and download it, buy it, support. You know, good music is very difficult to come by nowadays. From the Sky, Trust, Throw Them to the Lions, Make It Hurt, The First, The Last, The Day When Legions Burned. There's a lot of good songs on this album, man. A lot of good songs. The entire thing is fucking awesome. It just flows so nice. So if you guys are into that, please go out and check it out. Mark Tremonti's new album. His solo act called Simply Tremonti, A Dying Machine. Absolutely worth an hour of your listen, man. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. And I can't wait for him to get back in writing mode for Alter Bridge because they are definitely one of my favorite bands. My other favorite band, Symphony X. One of those bands that release an album every 5 years. Located right here in neighboring New Jersey, man. Michael Romeo. One of the best guitar players in the entire world. A virtuoso, if you want to call him that. He is the main guy in Symphony X along with Russell Allen. I found out last night, after listening to Tremonti, that this guy has a new solo album coming out called War of the World. It's based off the novel with the same name by H.G. Wells. And I found out that he has a new solo album coming out because I was scrolling through my Instagram and you see one of them sponsored ads on your Instagram feed. And Michael Romeo had a fucking sponsored thing. I don't know if they're picking up on the things that interest me. It's very fucking weird, man. I know, Michael Romeo ain't really out there to be promoting on Instagram, but I seen this and I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I go and find it on YouTube, and lo and behold, he's got a new solo album coming out, a new single out called Black. And if you guys love Symphony X, this is pretty much Symphony X without Russell Allen. So I'm reading the comment sections of this video, of this song, and it's making me worried, man. A lot of people are saying, you know, Michael Romeo and Russell Allen had a falling out. Russell Allen may be leaving Symphony X. If it was up to Michael Romeo, he would replace Russell Allen. I don't believe any of that. Every time I've seen these guys live, they're like fucking brothers. I don't see why they would walk away, or why, you know, Russell Allen would walk away from Symphony X. And a lot of the comments were like, oh, Russell Allen wanted to do Adrenaline Mob, and he wanted to go full-time with that. Michael Romeo had a problem with that, but what the fuck is Russell Allen supposed to do in 5-6 years? You know, it's not like, you know, I want Symphony X to release an album every 2 or 3 years. When they come out with an album every 5 or 6 years, it's like a fucking moment. You know, I don't want these, you know, it sucks when bands come out with albums like every year, every 2 years. Their creativity runs dry very quick. So with Michael Romeo, he lives in Hazlet, New Jersey. And he writes at home. He's got an in-house studio that his wife calls the dungeon. So he's doing his thing, man. Yeah, and Michael Romeo said that this may sound like Symphony X to some, but people are wondering, you know, what this album's going to sound like when they actually listen to it. They're going to be like, what the fuck was this guy thinking, and what was he on when he was writing this shit? He's like, it's not going to sound like Symphony X. But I was just happy to see that he's out with new music, and then the Symphony X, I'm hearing Symphony X is going to be back in the studio towards the end of the year, early next year, with an album coming out next year. That's what I hope. But I'm sure you guys give zero fucks about what I'm talking about. I just love music, and, you know, I found out about that yesterday, plus Tremonti's album got me, you know, off to a good start on Friday. So it is what it is, man. Starting your Saturdays off the right way, I hope. Off the script. This is episode 225, part number 2. We got one major story and then a bunch of minor stories. WWE may be adding Andrade Cien Almas to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I got news on Jeff Hardy, where he's been. I got a major update on Sanity and why they haven't been on television. So I got a few things. I even got this bizarre story about WWE possibly resurrecting the NWO on WWE TV. Now, I don't think that's the case at all, but it was in the news, so I figured I'd just throw it in there for you guys today on Off the Script. We discussed yesterday about Roman Reigns, and enough is enough, Vince. Please, enough is enough about getting this guy over and putting him in the main event to put him against Brock Lesnar. It ain't working. It ain't gonna work. End it. Let's go with Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman, please. But we discussed and pleaded with Vince McMahon. Don't do it. There were rumors about Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar. Nope, says Dave Meltzer. The plan is for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in New York City for the Universal Championship in the main event of SummerSlam. If that's the case, I hope New York, I urge, and I will get it out there as we get closer to SummerSlam, I urge people to walk out. Walk out. That's the only way that they're going to listen. So that was on part 1. And we go over, obviously, the weekend review with WWE for Raw, SmackDown, NXT 205 Live. Everything packed into an hour and a half plus of Off the Script. That is linked in the annotation that you see in the top right corner of your screen. Please go and check that out if you have not done so. Another major point I made in part 1 was my friend Rusty. He is riding this summer for MS, multiple sclerosis. And he is based out of Wisconsin. And he's doing this. He's done it every year. He lives with his wife who has MS. And they raise a ton of money each and every year for research for this terrible disease. And he's biking again, harder than he's ever have. And he's already about halfway at his goal. If you guys know anybody with MS, or if you guys live with somebody like Rusty does with MS, and, you know, it doesn't even have to be that. If you just want to donate out of the goodness of your heart because he's doing something for a great fucking cause, please go and donate. I'm going to leave his donation page pinned at the top of the comment section for the entirety of this summer. So if you guys want to go check him out and read what he's got written there on his donation page, and you want to find his wife's blog, who also has a blog herself, everything you need is right down in the comment section, pinned at the very top. Please donate. And let's get Rusty to his $2,500 goal this summer for his bike tour, Biking for MS research in Wisconsin, man. So thank you guys for checking that out. I greatly appreciate it, and I'm sure Rusty does as well. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. I don't know what's going on with YouTube, man. I uploaded NXT review. My NXT review last week did almost 18,000 views. Now, I don't know if it's the way I titled it or not, but NXT review barely did 10,000 views this week. I don't know what happened, and it just kind of irks the shit out of me that I do so well one week, and then the next week it's like, whatever, fuck you. And then I uploaded 2 videos, off the script extras. I want to try and get some shorter content out there for you guys to consume during the week when we don't do the big podcast on the weekend. We talked about Shawn Michaels possibly coming back and having one more match. He's open to it. Bobby Roode's heel turn. WWE splitting Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. Daniel Bryan possibly main eventing WrestleMania 35 with The Miz. The Undertaker coming back at Madison Square Garden. A bunch of stuff, man. So that is linked as well in the top right corner. Please go and check all that stuff out if you want some extra off the script for your weekend. If you guys want to support the podcast, you guys can do so in a few ways, man. We got barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Get your t-shirts, 15 designs, and growing. We are some of the best merchandise in the podcast community right now. So make sure you guys go and get your t-shirts, man. I'll be meeting and greeting you guys in Pittsburgh, New York, Chicago. I want to see some off-the-script merchandise when I visit those cities and when I do my own city here in New York, man, with SummerSlam weekend coming up. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript. Harry's.com/script for your free trial shave set, a blade, a handle, shave gel, and a protective case, all for free. All you guys have to do is sign up, use the link, and pay $2 shipping and handling, and you'll have a free shave set on Harry's. And I guarantee you, not only will it be the best shaver of your life, but whatever you're using right now is going right in the trash, and you ain't going to be using anything but what you see here. Harrys.com/script. Also, thank you to Audible for continuing to sponsor this show. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. They're going to give you 1 month free of their service and 1 free audiobook as a thank you for signing up. Now, if you guys do not like Audible service, you guys can cancel at any time within the 30-day grace period, and you get to keep your audiobook no matter what. So if you guys want to sign up and support the show and get something for free, that is the best way to do it, man. Audibletrial.com/offthescript. You got a ton of wrestling content on there, plus 190,000 different choices to choose from, spanning any genre that your heart desires, man. So check out Audible, and if you guys have already signed up, tell a friend, tell a coworker, tell a classmate, tell a family member. It doesn't matter, man. Audible is there, and it's a great way, like I said, to support off the script. Let's get into the news and rumors, man. I want to start off with this Nakamura story. Nakamura and AJ Styles. What is going on and what is next for both men following Money in the Bank? Before WrestleMania 34, AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura was definitely a dream match that a lot of fans in WWE were thirsty to see. They hadn't seen these two guys in the same ring since Wrestle Kingdom 10. For wrestling fans who watched the first encounter, a rematch at WrestleMania was a dream scenario for many. There might have been too much hype for their match at WrestleMania, but no one saw Nakamura's heel turn coming. I got my conspiracy theories. I think WWE dumbed them down. I think WWE kind of shafted them at WrestleMania for whatever reason. You know, that match was definitely worthy of a main event at WrestleMania. And I think WWE put the handcuffs on both AJ Styles and Nakamura. Now, at WrestleMania, no talent should have that going into WrestleMania. You should not handcuff your talent at WrestleMania. If you want the best out of your talent, you let them shine and you let them go at WrestleMania. But they seem to be redeeming themselves coming out of WrestleMania because every match that they've had together seems to be getting better and better. But like I said, no one saw Nakamura's heel turn coming. I have stated, and I stick behind this, Nakamura, if you wanted to give him a WWE Championship title reign, it should have been done in October of 2017. I think Nakamura beating Jinder Mahal at Hell in a Cell was the right call. Nakamura winning the title, having a little run for himself, taking the title into WrestleMania, having AJ win the Royal Rumble instead of Nakamura, and then we get the same match that we got this year with the same heel turn that happened this year. But Nakamura would have been a world champion. Now you're looking at it this year, and the outcome that we've seen in Hell in a Cell, or at Hell in a Cell rather, with Mahal retaining the title, Nakamura not having a title run, Nakamura winning the Royal Rumble and going into WrestleMania as the challenger, not winning the championship yet. We're looking at this scenario now, and a lot of people are saying it might be too late for Shinsuke Nakamura to have a WWE Championship title reign. And I do believe it's too little too late now. WWE may be building up Nakamura as a credible heel on SmackDown Live, but I really don't even want to see Shinsuke Nakamura as the WWE Champion right now. I don't. The next time Shinsuke Nakamura might fit into WWE Championship plans is when they have the desire to turn him back into a babyface. Because at that point, there may be a heel holding the championship. I don't know. But I'm sticking behind that. I think it's too little too late for Nakamura. And what we have lined up for AJ Styles potentially for the rest of 2018, I don't think WWE is going to want to take the title off of AJ Styles at all. Nakamura's heel turn happened at the end of WrestleMania. That turned one match into a full rivalry, and the WWE Universe has enjoyed more matches from them than they thought that they would ever get. Heading into Money in the Bank, most people are expecting their last man standing match to be the conclusion of their feud. Really? You expect going into Money in the Bank to be the conclusion of their feud? I answer that statement with this one. Do you expect WWE to begin a new feud for AJ Styles at a pay-per-view like Extreme Rules? Or is WWE going to go into Extreme Rules with another stipulation for Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles because they know that they can get away with giving you another no finish at Money in the Bank? Why would you start a new rivalry for AJ at a pay-per-view like Extreme Rules instead of waiting to build something major at SummerSlam? I don't know. Now, according to reports, WWE officials are planning to continue their rivalry all the way through SummerSlam. The company is advertising matches between them through August. It stands to reason their feud will continue on SmackDown Live as well. If that's the case, you have to wonder if WWE officials are planning a huge title change. Maybe they are. Maybe they are. And AJ won't get the title back. He'll get his rematch at SummerSlam against Nakamura. Nakamura will win the title, maybe hold it till SummerSlam, walk into Barclays Center with the title. AJ will get his rematch, and then The Miz will cash in on Nakamura. I don't know. Or he will cash in on that match and kind of take the title from Nakamura, but screw AJ as well. That could be something that WWE is thinking about. It'll get the title on The Miz, which I think should happen, and it will keep him away from Daniel Bryan for the time being while Miz and AJ can feud over the title. You know, but there's a lot of talent on SmackDown Live that is going to be deserving of a World Championship title opportunity. You're going to have Almas, you're going to have Bryan, and you're going to have Joe. So how long do you go with feuding AJ and The Miz? Because you know Bryan's going to want to get a part of that. You know Joe has already stated that he wants a part of that. And if WWE goes through SummerSlam with another AJ Nakamura match, what type of stipulation would it be? And how long are you going to keep Samoa Joe away from the world title picture? Because he's already stated that he wants AJ Styles. He wants the WWE Championship. Now, if AJ and Nakamura are going one-on-one at SummerSlam, then that probably opens the door for Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe, because I don't find anybody else on the roster who makes sense to go one-on-one. You're not going to put Joe against anybody. And Joe and Bryan makes the most sense creatively going into SummerSlam. And on SmackDown side, if you're going to have those two matches headlining your brand going into SummerSlam, I think that's a pretty great 1-2 combination for SmackDown Live. Traditionally, major feuds like this end with the babyface defeating the heel. That's just storytelling one-on-one. On paper, the Phenomenal One should beat Nakamura at SummerSlam to end their feud. However, that doesn't mean Nakamura couldn't capture the WWE Championship for a few months and establish himself as a top heel in WWE. A rivalry as important as Styles should go on for a longer period of time. All too often, feuds are kept very short. Their conflict lasting from WrestleMania till SummerSlam is a great showcase for both men. Yes, ideally, that is correct. But I think WWE has been very lazy with the build for these two. It's gotten a little bit better, but it really didn't get started on the right foot. It will be interesting to see how WWE officials book the rest of their rivalry because, whether you like them or not, they certainly have room for improvement, but it is something that fans are still genuinely interested in going into SummerSlam 2018. Now, if Nakamura and AJ Styles do not battle one-on-one, and this does end, and AJ moves on to something else, he'll definitely move on to Samoa Joe, then what do you do with Shinsuke Nakamura going into SummerSlam? Well, you're just going to reverse them. You're just going to reverse them. AJ is going to go against Joe, which I would much rather see at SummerSlam. Because I honestly am getting tired of Nakamura and AJ Styles. I just kind of want it to be over. Joe and Styles headlining SummerSlam. Well, not really headlining, but you guys know what I mean. Headlining for SmackDown Live. Joe and Styles. First time ever in WWE. Then what do you do with Nakamura? Clearly you go put him with Daniel Bryan. Because that would be a first time ever on pay-per-view as well in WWE. Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Reason why Shinsuke Nakamura even came to the WWE is because he wanted one-on-one with Daniel Bryan. So that would be a pretty damn good 1-2 combination for SmackDown Live as well going into SummerSlam. But giving Shinsuke Nakamura the WWE Championship right now, I think that ship has sailed. It's too little too late. If they wanted to do it, they should have did it in October of last year. But they continued to just kill SmackDown Live with Jinder Mahal and that reign of terror, And look at the opportunity WWE would have given us with Nakamura as champion. We would have gotten Nakamura and Lesnar, which is still one of the matches that I would love to see in WWE. That would have happened at Survivor Series instead of AJ versus Brock. I ain't complaining, but it would have been another opportunity for another marquee match. Nakamura could have went on to hold the title to WrestleMania, and we would have gotten everything that we would have gotten now. It would have been the same thing now. But at least you would have given him a title run, and that title run would have made sense. I feel like if you give Nakamura the title now, it's not going to make sense. And I just don't think WWE wants to take the title off AJ Styles. He is the face of that brand. And there's a lot that awaits AJ. Bryan, Joe, Almas. There's no shortage of opponents for AJ Styles. Why would you take the title off him to put it on Nakamura, who's only going to be a transitional champion? It's not going to be a real reign. You're giving Nakamura the title based out of pity, and you're giving Nakamura the title because you just want to give him the title. Just for the sake of giving him a title run. When they know they should have done this already. So I want to see it end sooner rather than later. I'd much rather see Styles versus Joe and Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam for 2018. Speaking of Money in the Bank, is WWE adding another Money in the Bank match to the card? There's often room for one more match. With 2 months having passed since WrestleMania 34, you would think that most of the main roster call-ups would have been fairly well established by now. Obviously, Sanity and AOP have been a completely different fucking story, but the ones that are missing right now are Zelina Vega and Andrade Cien Almas. He's already appeared on SmackDown Live in various squash matches, but he might be ready for a major pay-per-view match. According to sources, there has been talk of adding Almas versus Sin Cara to next Sunday's Money in the Bank pay-per-view event. Now, they're already fighting on SmackDown Live this coming Tuesday. So if they're adding that match to the pay-per-view on Sunday, which to me makes no fucking sense, the match on Tuesday is going to end in some type of fuck finish, which is going to lead to another match on Sunday. The two have been having issues as of late on SmackDown Live, with Almas attacking Sin Cara. On this week's show, a match was announced for Tuesday, but there is always the chance that the match will be switched over to the pay-per-view, or like I said, a fuck finish, leading to a rematch at the pay-per-view. This will be Almas' first pay-per-view match, and if the match makes the actual pay-per-view, it will be Sin Cara's first pay-per-view match, not including kickoff shows, since WrestleMania 32. Why is there a reason to put this match on the pay-per-view? And if it does make the pay-per-view, is it going to make the main card, or are you going to put Almas on the pre-show? Because if you put him on the pre-show, that ain't really speaking to many as a good thing. I don't see any positive here in adding this to the main card. Maybe Almost will get cheered in Chicago because that's a smart mark crowd. Maybe WWE just wants to get these guys a pay-per-view payday. But I don't see the need in adding this match to the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. It's not a pay-per-view match. Not everybody needs to be on pay-per-view. Almost isn't in anything important. So why put him on the pay-per-view for the sake of putting him on the pay-per-view? Wait. There will be plenty of pay-per-views every single month that you could put Almas on the card in a more important role. Build up Almas, get his status on TV where you want it to be, and then move him up the card and then feature him on pay-per-view when the time is right. This does not need to be on pay-per-view, and if it does, I see nothing more than a pre-show match. Keep it on SmackDown Live, have him look strong, and then do what you need to do with him as far as moving him up the card. You want a match for SummerSlam with Almas? Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff Hardy would be a perfect opponent for Almas with a proper build for the United States Championship. Speaking of Jeff Hardy, there's a reason why he is not on SmackDown Live, and this is a very legitimate reason. I thought WWE was going about having Jeff Hardy as the United States Champion and not having any plans for he or the United States Championship. But 2 weeks ago, Daniel Bryan beat Jeff Hardy on SmackDown Live, and since then, Hardy hasn't wrestled another television match. He also has not defended the United States Championship since Backlash. The WWE Universe knows he's fighting through some nagging injuries, but when is Jeff Hardy returning to SmackDown Live? According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Jeff Hardy has been suffering from a pinched nerve that is causing numbness in his fingers. Obviously, that's a genuine concern, and it makes sense why he has been taking it easy for the past few weeks. It's unclear if Hardy is planning to take more time off, but WWE should have the answer very soon. This is the same type of thing that kept Jason Jordan out of action on Monday Night Raw, and he missed WrestleMania and 2 months of WWE in-ring action. I hope that is not the case with Jeff Hardy. It would be really terrible to have Jeff Hardy brought to SmackDown Live and be positioned as a top guy and then automatically get hurt after coming back from injury and after becoming the United States champion. But that could be, you got to look at it in a positive way. That could be a great thing for the SmackDown's television show. That could be a great thing for the mid-card. If the title needs to be taken off Jeff Hardy and if he needs to be out for a couple of months, that opens up WWE to have a really competitive tournament on SmackDown Live to crown a new United States champion. And that could be a way for Almas to really situate himself in WWE on SmackDown Live. You build the tournament around Almas and you crown a new United States champion at SummerSlam accordingly. You got to look at the positives. If Jeff is going to be out and they're not going to have him as the United States champion and he's going to be out and he's going to miss SummerSlam, that's a great way to do it. And when Jeff is 100% healthy again, you have him come back and you have him challenge whoever the champion is because he was never defeated for the championship and you have a storyline waiting for him when he gets back. It's very simple. Wrestling 101. But I hope he's back. And I hope we see some type of build between he and Almas going into SummerSlam. I think that would be a perfect feud for both of them. We'll see what happens. Now, after SmackDown went off the air this past Tuesday, United States Champion Jeff Hardy wrestled alongside Daniel Bryan to face The Miz and Big Cass in a dark match, which could be an indication of where they go with Miz and Big Cass. Big Cass could be aligning himself with The Miz. We don't know yet. Seems WWE officials are protecting him in the ring for the time being, but a decision has to be made soon. As of this writing, there isn't a U.S. title match booked for Money in the Bank. That is a very serious statement right there, and a testament to how injured Jeff Hardy really is, and how cautious WWE is being with Jeff Hardy. Now, they still consider him a top guy in WWE. There's a reason why they broke him away from Matt Hardy. It's because WWE, Vince McMahon, and Triple H considered Jeff Hardy to be a top guy in the company. That's why he was given the United States title after WrestleMania 34 and moved to SmackDown Live away from Matt Hardy. Over time, he could receive a much bigger push, but the big problem with Jeff is that he has been injury prone. Jeff needs to stay healthy, and he has had a huge problem, staying healthy since making his return to WWE last year. Now, if Hardy's reign must end due to injury, it's likely WWE officials will take the championship off of him sooner rather than later. If that happens, the fans will know his injury is more than serious. Tournament, simple. WWE has a great mid-card on SmackDown Live. You could fill that tournament with guys like Ty Dillinger, Shelton Benjamin, Randy Orton, Almas, what a fucking, if you want to build a tournament, I don't know where Randy Orton is. I think Randy Orton was even injured. I think Randy Orton's taking a little sabbatical, some time off. If you want to build the United States Championship around Almas, imagine that, man, at SummerSlam. Randy Orton versus Andrade Cien Almas for the United States Championship and having Almas go over? Dude, come on, man. That would be fucking fantastic. That would be a great shot in the arm for Almas. And then you have Jeff Hardy waiting for Almas after he gets back from injury. I just booked WWE's United States Championship in the worst case scenario if Hardy needs to be off television. That would be great. That would be great television. And I don't want this tournament to be a breeze. I don't want them to put the tournament on television and have 2 3-minute matches and then just think of it as an afterthought. I want it to be taken seriously. And I'm sure if that's the way that they go, they're not going to take it seriously. These shows should be built around the tournament. You got your WWE Championship title picture, whatever that may be, your Women's Championship title picture. I wish the WWE would get on board with the Tag Team title picture, but the United States Championship Tournament should be the most impactful segment on your program every single week leading to that final match at SummerSlam. That's the way to go about it. If, and only if, Hardy needs to be stripped of the title. We'll know more soon. I hope that's not the case. I would much rather see a feud built up between Almas and Jeff Hardy. But if that is the way it's got to be, then build the tournament around Almas and crown him the new United States champion. Major update, speaking on SmackDown Live and keeping with the SmackDown Live theme, major update on WWE pushing Rusev Day on SmackDown Live. Not sure if you guys have known, WWE has released Lana Day t-shirts. It's the same design, but in blue for Lana Day. It's a take off the Rusev Day gimmick that her husband has been doing for all these months. To me, I look at that as, wow, it looks like WWE is trying to kill Rusev Day. Really. And if you guys watch SmackDown Live and you've seen Aiden English holding his throat after being super kicked, that may be another indication that WWE may be ending Rusev Day altogether. 8 months ago, the Rusev Day gimmick was created on SmackDown Live and has become the hottest gimmick on WWE programming. That's, I guess a subjective thing, but it's still quite over. Not as over as it used to be, but it's still quite over. The gimmick has gotten Rusev and Aiden English over huge with the WWE fans. He's been getting one of the strongest babyface reactions in the company for several months, despite being booked as a heel. It's been reported that WWE officials don't see the Rusev Day team as more than a mid-level tag team act at best. Obviously, the WWE Universe disagrees. That should be enough to get them a more significant push. However, WWE is focused on using the gimmick to get Lana over, and it seems like they're trying to kind of persuade the fans away from Rusev Day and get on board with Lana Day. WWE dropped the ball with Aiden English and Rusev as a tag team. There was a moment earlier in the year where they were vying for the tag team championships, and they were as hot as they ever been. They have not been as hot since then, at the beginning of this year, when they were vying for the tag team championships. Boy, did they fucking drop the ball on crowning new champions. That would have been a moment for both men and the entire brand of SmackDown Live. Everyone was so invested in Rusev Day, and they did not do it. I wonder if WWE, Rusev, or English look back on that and regret not being pushed into the tag team title picture and crowned the new tag team champions. A win over the Usos would have been fucking fantastic. According to a new report from the Wrestling Observer, Aiden English being struck in the throat by a super kick on SmackDown Live caused him to stop singing and start introducing Rusev with a rap. So that's the idea now. They want him to rap instead of sing. However, it's also being rumored that WWE officials want to stop the crowd from anticipating the Rusev Day, chant. And not allowing English to sing could kill fans' interest in the gimmick. So now they are pushing Lana over Rusev. Lana Day, they want to get away from Rusev Day. Rusev has kind of taken a backstage role, not a backstage role, but a supporting role in recent weeks, even though he's in Money in the Bank. And now they want Rusev away from English, and English not to sing but rap, and they want to kill Aiden English's singing, which in turn to them would kill the fans wanting Rusev Day. I don't understand this. I really don't get it. On paper, that doesn't make much sense because WWE officials are trying to use Rusev Day to push Lana. They're using Rusev Day to push Lana Day. So, if you want to kill the gimmick, then take the whole fucking gimmick away from him completely. But even then, it's not going to work because once you take something away from the fans that they genuinely like, they're going to chant and do it more so. It's like taking candy away from a baby. What's the kid going to do? What's the baby going to do? He's going to scream and fucking bitch and moan. You know, Mommy, I want my candy. You know, and he's going to fucking make a scene until you give him the fucking candy back. It's the same thing that's going to happen with Rusev Day. So I don't understand how this is going to work in WWE's favor. It's interesting that the company doesn't want to capitalize on the gimmick's popularity because the guy was selling merchandise out everywhere he went. It wasn't supposed to be this over. And Rusev got himself over and made all this money for the company with the merchandise, calendars and t-shirts. It was over more so than WWE had ever anticipated. From the fans' perspective, it makes the gimmick more endearing because WWE officials don't want it. And just by that, if WWE is going to take the gimmick away from the fans who want to see it, they're going to chant it even more so, even though WWE is going to try and push Rusev as a monster heel. Some wrestling fans love to go against the grain. WWE officials giving them a reason to get more behind Rusev Day doesn't seem like the best way to kill the gimmick. There's a lot of confusion around the gimmick's booking, but it's up to WWE right now to make sure Rusev Day doesn't fade away. It shouldn't fade away, and if WWE is smart, they wouldn't want it to fade away because it's making them money. It's making them money. Why would you want to take away something that has happened organically? I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, you guys want an interesting look into someone who was there, someone who worked with Rusev, someone who was in WWE going through this same thing. I urge you to go, I don't know if it was this week or last week, one of the last episodes of Talk is Jericho with Chris Jericho. He had Wade Barrett. He had Wade Barrett on, and there was about a 20-minute block in which they talked about his WWE career and his run and how unhappy he was and how he knew and realized that this was it for me. I gotta leave. I can't be here anymore. How he got to Monday Night Raw and just didn't want to be there. How he got scripts for the shows every week and said, I didn't want to do this. I don't want to do this. How he brought his creative ideas to creative and they automatically got shot down. Like nobody would listen to him whatsoever. Then there's an instance where he talks about his Bad News Barrett, and there's an instance where he talks about Roman Reigns. I want you guys to go listen to this, because Wade Barrett worked alongside Rusev, but he was also there, put on the front line to get Roman Reigns over. The League of Nations was put together to get Roman Reigns over, and he didn't outwardly admit that, but that's the vibe that I got when listening to him. And listen to him because he was there. He was inside the trenches during this push for Reigns. Go and listen to what he said about WWE attempting to get Roman Reigns over. Everything that they did and everything that they continue to do is backfiring because there's no believability in it. Roman Reigns is not overcoming a threat. The fans don't perceive it that way. All the fans see is enough of this guy already. Chance after chance after chance, time and time again. How many opportunities? He's already lost. Give it to somebody else. He goes in depth about pushing Roman Reigns and why it isn't working and the feeling of WWE when something like this gets over, especially with his situation with Bad News Barrett, how it got over organically and WWE pulled the plug on it because it's not what they wanted. Go and listen to it, really. I seriously give you guys, things that are important to what we talk about here. Go and listen to it. I urge you to. It's probably the best thing I listened to all week. Unbelievable how this company works, man. Why they would want to kill Rusev Day, I really don't know. They got plans in mind for Rusev, so if they got plans, then book him the way that you envision. Give him the success that he deserves. He's talented. He's decent in the ring. He's got charisma. He's got a personality. He's believable. But if the fans want to believe in him and cheer with him and get on his side, don't take that away from them. Vince McMahon once said, back in the day, the fans are the heartbeat of this company. When the fans, speak, they tell you which direction. They are the winds of change. Stephanie McMahon says that the WWE Universe is the pulse of this company. But when you read shit like this, and WWE wants to take, and they don't listen to the fans, are they really listening to the fans? Or are they just giving us what they think is right and saying fuck you to the fans? To me, this is a big fuck you. People don't want to boo Rusev. People want to cheer Rusev, and they want to represent Rusev Day. It got over naturally and organically. I'm sorry that somebody went or went off the script, rather, and didn't go according to your plans. Sometimes that's got to be looked at as a good thing. Because Rusev was held in captivity and got over on his own. He made you money. He's made himself a success, and he's made himself a must-see act on SmackDown Live. If you don't embrace that, if you don't find that to be endearing, then somebody in WWE clearly hates the fucking company, the sport, the industry, and their job. Simple as that. I have no other opinion on Rusev Day, really. It's ridiculous. And Lana, clearly everybody's going to love Lana more because she's more attractive to look at. But pushing Lana over Rusev in recent weeks when he's in Money in the Bank? Come on, bro. Get on board and start pushing Rusev the way he deserves on SmackDown Live. Rey Mysterio. We all associate Rey with SmackDown Live. Continuing with the SmackDown Live theme. When is Rey Mysterio returning to the WWE? The WWE Universe was pleasantly surprised to see Rey Mysterio return for the 2018 Royal Rumble match. He looked incredible in the Royal Rumble. A lot of people were disappointed his appearance was only a one-off. Shortly afterward, he wrestled for New Japan Pro Wrestling and will be at All In September. I'm going to be All In. Are you? However, there's still a chance Mysterio will return to the WWE. Wrestling Observer Live has reported that WWE officials are talking with Rey about a return to the company. There is some speculation that he could be in for SummerSlam in August. Dave Meltzer claims that Mysterio's schedule is full through the summer, so it's more likely that he won't be at SummerSlam, but he will complete all obligations. He will run through September. After he's done being All In Chicago, then we will see possibly something worked out with WWE after All In. Something could be worked out, but it seems WWE officials want to lock Mysterio down for a long-term deal. It would only be on a part-time basis, but having Rey back inside a WWE ring on a regular basis should greatly help the company. The most obvious option to everybody would be to put him on SmackDown Live. That's just my opinion. I don't want to see anybody go to Monday Night Raw because Monday Night Raw is Death Valley. You go to Monday Night Raw and you die 1,000 fucking deaths. I don't want anybody to go on Monday Night Raw. I don't even want the guys currently on Monday Night Raw to be on Monday Night Raw. That show is a fucking wasteland. And I ain't talking about the Ascension. Trash. I'd put him on SmackDown Live. Even better. SmackDown Live is only 2 shows. SmackDown Live is booked up from top to bottom. They got enough talent where they don't need Rey Mysterio, even though I'd love to see Rey Mysterio versus Bryan, Rey Mysterio versus Joe, Rey Mysterio versus Styles, Rey Mysterio versus Almas. Yes, I'd love to see any of those matches, but is Rey going to fit in there and take a spot away from somebody who already has plans in the main event scene? Rey isn't going to come in and be some random Joe Schmo. Rey's going to be at the top of the card when he comes in. What do you do with Rey? You put him on 205 Live. You put Rey Mysterio on 205 Live. Subscriptions matter to WWE. SmackDown's going to be SmackDown Live on Tuesday nights. SmackDown's getting $1 billion from Fox. Doesn't fucking matter. But if you want to add subscriptions to the network, if you want to treat Rey, if he's coming in as a part-timer, you want to treat Rey like an attraction, and you want to get subscriptions up for the network, you put him on 205 Live. Especially if you want to take 205 Live on the road, which I'm hearing WWE wants to do. That's where they're bolstering the roster. 205 Live with Rey Mysterio headlining those shows on the road, that's a huge selling point for fans, families, kids. That's a great business move for WWE. On top of that, Mysterio versus Cedric Alexander. Mysterio versus Buddy Murphy. Mysterio versus possibly a returning Neville if they get Neville back. Mysterio versus Mustafa Ali. Mysterio versus Kalisto. Mysterio versus Gran Metalik. Rey Mysterio fits better on 205 Live than anything. I think that is not only what is best, but it would bring a spotlight to the Cruiserweight Championship that we haven't seen since the Cruiserweight Classic. And it would get WWE a great business perspective for 205 Live with not only live touring, but subscriptions to the network. Because I think more people are prone or would be prone to subscribing to the network if Rey Mysterio's on 205 Live, and that's the only way you can see him. Man, I love Rey Mysterio. I want to see Rey Mysterio wrestle. Let me sign up for the network. Instead of putting him on 205 Live and having him drowned out and possibly take a spot away from somebody who's already there. You know, the main event scene right now is pretty stacked on SmackDown Live. You don't need to add another one who possibly might take a spot from somebody or he himself get lost in the shuffle. And you certainly don't want to put him on Monday Night Raw because either that, he'll die 1,000 deaths over there, or they'll just feed him to Roman Reigns and they'll just add to the Roman Reigns initiative over there through Rey Mysterio. Add him to the fucking resume. Nobody wants that. Even though Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins match for the IC title sounds very intriguing. But 205 Live to me is the best plan of action for the mysterious one. Now, during his first brand extension, Rey Mysterio was a key guy for SmackDown Live. The WWE Universe would be ecstatic to see Mysterio work with Shinsuke Nakamura, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Almas, Joe, Jeff Hardy. You know, I went over that already. But the dream matchups for Mysterio on Raw as well, like I said, with Seth Rollins, a Roman Reigns, if you want to add him in there. You know, a Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler, Elias, Bobby Roode. Could be something to look at, but I don't want that. I don't think that's the right course of action. There's no guarantee that Rey will sign a contract with the company. This is all, you know, speculative at this point, so please take it with a grain of salt. We all know WWE wants Mysterio, but Mysterio wants certain things, and he doesn't want to come back on a full-time basis. He might be more comfortable wrestling one-off matches or working without a contract like Chris Jericho does. Either way, the WWE Universe will take as much as Rey Mysterio as they could get. 205 Live is the way to go with Rey Mysterio, and that is my opinion on that. Moving on here, man. Speaking of 205 Live, major update on Lio Rush moving to 205 Live. Lio Rush was signed by the WWE. Wrestling fans expected great things from him. He was all set to make a major splash in NXT, but he got into some trouble after making a joke about Emma's release from the company. As a result, he was taken off the road and worked his way back to NXT TV after several months at the Performance Center. However, the NXT roster is stacked, and Ricochet signing has been, Ricochet signing has given WWE officials the idea to move Rush to 205 Live. The company has begun airing vignettes, debuting a new character, and the Man of the Hour is expected to receive a major push on the show. According to a new report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Lio Rush is going to be a heel on 205 Live, and his character will be a rich playboy. Backstory here about Lio Rush before I get into the rest of this report. Lio Rush worked with House of Glory. House of Glory has a wrestler and a performer known as Cashflow Ken Broadway. I heard through the grapevine that Lio Rush just got up and took Cashflow Ken Broadway's gimmick and he's applying it with some twists and turns on WWE TV. You got Cashflow coming out to the heavy rap music. You got Cashflow coming out wearing fur coats and flowing and money, flinging money all over the place with the gold chains. You look at Lio Rush. He's got the gold chains, he's got the sunglasses, he's got the cocky attitude, he's got the $100 bill stacked in front of him, and I'm hearing that he's going to be flinging money around. He's the man of the hour, he's the rich playboy, Lio Rush. So when you look at Lio Rush, and then you look at Cashflow Ken Broadway, what are you going to associate? Not many people know of Cashflow. Who knows of House of Glory, really, unless you are a big wrestling savant? A casual WWE fan isn't going to know who Cashflow Ken Broadway is or House of Glory is. They're going to look at Lio Rush and they're going to say, oh, okay. Then they're going to see Cashflow. They're going to be like, oh, Cashflow stole his gimmick. No, Cashflow had the gimmick originally. Lio Rush is the one who took aspects of his gimmick and applied it to his own in WWE. Lio Rush wasn't this way when he was debuting with WWE. Lio Rush was just Lio Rush, the man of the hour. The guy who could fucking wow you in the ring with his sheer athleticism. Now he's a fucking playboy throwing money around? Come on, man. Babatunde, who we've seen in the greatest Royal Rumble. He's been working alongside Lio Rush at NXT Live events. He will not be moving to 205 Live with Lio Rush. WWE officials are hoping Lio Rush will be able to be a top heel for the brand that it's been missing since both Neville and Enzo Amore left the company. More so Neville, not so Enzo Amore. With Cedric Alexander and the Cruiserweight Championship, Rush could become a great heel for the brand and could be a great adversary for Cedric Alexander and the Cruiserweight Championship title hunt. WWE officials are making the right call to move Lio Rush to 205 Live. The show could use a new start to shake things up, and Alexander vs. Rush could be a fantastic match when the time comes. Hopefully his debut can create a buzz and make 205 Live a show that WWE Universe can't miss every single week. Well, they're already doing that with the amount of matches that they've been showcasing and the showcase of talent that they have on that show. Letting them just be free and do whatever they got to do, man. Can you imagine 205 Live? You got Cedric Alexander. I mentioned this yesterday. Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali. You got the Lucha House Party over there doing their thing. You got Buddy Murphy, who was unbelievable at what he's been doing. You know, imagine. You got Lio Rush coming in. You got Neville hopefully coming back. Cedric Alexander. Imagine Rich Swann or Rey Mysterio coming in. Holy shit, 205 Live is fucking firing on all cylinders, man. Some people may be saying 205 Live is better than NXT. Can you imagine that roster? Can you imagine the names I just mentioned as the roster for 205 Live? Wait till you guys see Lio Rush in the ring, man. If you guys aren't watching 205 Live now, you're going to watch 205 Live when Lio Rush is in the ring. Believe me, I've called his matches with cash flow. They were the best matches that House of Glory put on last year. Lio Rush is going to add a lot to 205 Live, and my God, a match with Cedric Alexander is making me fucking excited already just at the thought of it. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what Lio Rush does on 205 Live, and that's going to be a great addition to Tuesday nights. I just wish, I really, really, really wish that they would move 205 Live to before SmackDown Live to get it a little bit more vibrant, a little bit more excitement, or move it to Full Sail. I would really hope that they move it to Full Sail, man. That roster deserves a crowd that is going to be invested. I don't want to see these guys killing themselves to golf claps and people sitting on their ass not really giving a shit and empty seats. I don't want to see that at all, man. That's a damn shame. When I watched that Alexander Buddy Murphy match and I seen empty seats, they were louder than usual with the This Is Awesome chants, but those two need to be in front of a crowd that's going to be completely invested in what they're doing. And right now, airing after SmackDown Live ain't investing in 205 Live. Speaking of SmackDown Live, man, Sanity. The reason why Sanity has not made their debut on SmackDown Live. Since their announcement and vignettes, there have been multiple reasons floating around why they haven't been debuted on SmackDown Live. Everything from, there's no plans for them, or they're moving them back down to NXT. Vince has already killed the gimmick. Vince is over the gimmick already. He don't want anything to do with the gimmick on TV. The first rumor claimed that WWE simply didn't have any creative plans for them, which means the company decided to keep them off television until they could come up with something worthwhile, which had fans wondering why they even called up Sanity in the first place. After that, it was speculated that Vince McMahon might have already given up on the gimmick after potentially failing to understand the gimmick. Meanwhile, we hear Triple H. This is a brainchild of Triple H for the last 10 years. Sanity is a brainchild of Triple H for the last 10 years. And for Vince to kill it like that, without even seeing these guys in the ring? Come on, man. That's just sheer idiocy. Over the weekend, the main roster fans finally got their first glimpse of Sanity as they appeared at SmackDown house shows, which they lost by disqualification. Now, Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer newsletter and Wrestling Observer Live has shared the possible reason why Sanity hasn't arrived on SmackDown yet, and by the sounds of it, fans shouldn't be massively worried. Speaking on Wrestling Observer Live, Alvarez claimed that he heard it's all to do with trademark issues. If and when those have been ironed out, then we could see Sanity on SmackDown Live. According to Ringside News, he said, and I quote, "There has been some speculation it might have been a deal where they have been getting some trademark issues dealt with before they would debut on SmackDown Live." According to another source, they added that WWE prefers to release merchandise relatively quickly for their superstars, and with trademark issues, it makes the WWE's job that much more difficult to release anything for them. While the signs might still point in the direction of not having any concrete plans for Sanity, it might take a while for Sanity to fully assert their dominance on SmackDown Live's tag team division. I think bringing Sanity up right now is a complete waste. I honestly do. WWE isn't treating tag teams like anything special. They're pretty much an afterthought. Tag team division's dead. And the only one that I find of any value right now, if you're going to keep Eric Young and Alexander Wolf together as a tag team, I don't find them going anywhere. The only one of any value right now is Killian Dane. Killian Dane is going to be a breakout monster for WWE. There's no reason why WWE is going to bring Killian Dane up and not have any plans for him. It's sad because NXT had plans for Sanity, and then WWE takes Sanity, puts them on SmackDown Live, and there's no fucking plans. Meanwhile, all we heard Triple H say is, when I bring somebody up from NXT to the main roster, there needs to be solid concrete plans for them. There's none. There's none for AOP, and there's none for Sanity. So why are you taking talent from NXT? Meanwhile, they could still be flourishing down there in front of an audience that wants to see them, instead of keeping them off television for the main roster, and us asking, where are they? Looking frantically in the back of a milk carton if they're missing. You know? They may be dead floating up Schitt's Creek somewhere. It's ridiculous. But if this is the case, then I understand it. But if you don't have any creative ideas for them, why bring them up in the first place? You know, it's about time we see some dominant stables on SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw. You know, it sucks that we've got these makeshift stables. You know, we got the Club and AJ Styles teaming together, but there's no real association there. Or the Club and Finn Balor teaming up, and there's no real association there. I need to see some stable dominance. I want to see a takeover of a fucking brand. I want to see groups align together and go against what is right on TV. Shake things up a bit. We don't see that. We have not seen that in a while. Which makes me wonder if Undisputed Era is going to suffer the same fate as everybody else brought up from NXT. But speaking of shaking things up, this may be the last story of the day because I don't really have anything else. I think I ran through everything. Yeah, this is the last story for the night. WWE bringing back the New World Order? I don't know, man. New World Order coming back with new members. I seen this story and I'm like, let me talk about this on the podcast. The New World Order is one of the greatest stables in wrestling history. The stable's creation turned WCW into a superpower in the industry and made an impact in WWE as well. Hogan, Nash, Hall, X-Pac have all made appearances as members over recent years, but WWE could be bringing back the old stable full time. According to sources, WWE officials applied for the NWO trademark strictly for wrestling purposes. Most likely, the company wants to retain the rights to the trademark for merchandise purposes. However, could the powers in WWE want to bring back the stable with new members and someone like Kevin Nash as the leader of a new NWO in 2018? The possibility of Kevin Nash becoming a manager has been rumored before, but the WWE brought him back for a role in 2011, and he hasn't been seen since. Depending on who has been selected to join the new stable, Nash could act as a mouthpiece and use the NWO brand to sell merchandise and get some new talent over. The problem is WWE officials have tried this idea before. Back in 2002, the company tried to establish the stable without Hogan, Nash, or Hall, with Shawn Michaels as the leader. The idea didn't work then, so it's hard to understand why it would work 16 years later. WWE has also established a lot of new teams and stables over recent years. In fact, there are stables just waiting to debut on television. If WWE officials are serious about bringing the NWO back to television, it would be a challenge. The WWE Universe wouldn't appreciate the company just bringing back old ideas rather than trying something new. The idea could work as a short-term story like the recent Goldberg run. However, fans shouldn't hold their breath for the NWO's return. Make Roman Reigns the leader of the NWO. Just do what I did and say what I said about him just going into business for himself and him taking over the WWE with a new world order. Simple as that. Do I want to see the NWO back on television? No, I don't. All I have to say about it is this. If Shawn Michaels couldn't get it to work, then I don't think anybody is going to get it to work. Do not relive the past. There's a reason why it's in the past. Keep it there. If that's the best WWE creative has to offer, then the people in charge of creative and who you have in creative right now shouldn't be in creative. Because if that is the best idea that they got, if they need to rehash old ideas, that ain't going to make television better, man. I think that's going to get more negative than positive. It's great to see a new stable formed on television, but bringing back something that was a history-making moment, a industry-changing moment that WWE tried to resurrect and failed with a Hall of Famer leading the company or leading the group, it's not going to work in 2018. If it didn't work with Shawn Michaels, it ain't going to work now. So you could do something like the NWO with something new, something different, with a twist, but don't resurrect a dying and dead stable to relive nostalgia. We've had enough nostalgia. We don't need any more nostalgia on WWE television. And nostalgia is not going to be the one thing to help increase quality of their television. It's only going to make things worse if done wrong. Bringing back the NWO, I don't want to see it happen. And like the report said, don't hold your breath for the NWO returning to WWE television. That is off the script, guys. Thank you so much. I am completely out of news. Hopefully there'll be something else to talk about on Sunday, but if there is not, then don't expect anything on Sunday. I might live stream some God of War on Sunday instead, so look forward to that if there's no wrestling news. But that is off the script, guys. Thank you so much. If you guys are going to be at House of Glory tonight, I should already be there by the time this uploads to YouTube. Come out, hogwrestling.net. You can buy tickets on their official website. Please do so. Come greet me. I'm accepting Corona this evening, so make sure you guys come out and get with some House of Glory. Follow me on Twitter at JDFROMNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. If you guys want to support the show, please do so. A few ways you can do that. Barbershopwindow.com/offthescript, Harrys.com/offthescript, and audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go and check out any videos that you might have missed. You got 2 off-the-script extras uploaded on Thursday. You got Raw, SmackDown, NXT, a God of War live stream, and part 1 yesterday of episode 225. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Sunday. If not, I'll be back with something. And if this is the end of your weekend with Off the Script, hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys right back here with more wrestling content on Monday as we cover Monday Night Raw and the go-home show for Money in the Bank. Have a great weekend. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow with something. And I'll see you guys on Monday for Raw. Talk to you later.